Hi, welcome to Dregs. I'm James Watt. This time I'm speaking to Catherine Swift, another fantastic entrepreneur who was rejected by the Den. Hi, Catherine.
Hi, James. That was a bit of a tongue twister. Dregs. That's quite difficult to say.
I think I made it sound far more difficult than it was actually. It wasn't that difficult. So I see we've got a lovely cup of matcha here.
Do you want to try it?
Yeah, so this is what you do.
Yes. So we've got 4 different grades in the range. Great Taste Awards across them all. The one you're drinking at the moment's actually got a 3-star Great Taste award on it, and pride ourselves on the quality of our products. So hopefully you're enjoying that.
And why did you end up so passionate about matcha?
Back in 2009, my mum was diagnosed with, quite an aggressive breast cancer, and my background was in event management. At the time, I ran an event called the Northwest Football Awards, and because we'd get the great and good of the world of football in the room, we would always raise money for charity. And he was the chair of a £20 million appeal for the Children's Hospital in Manchester. So that, for the last few years, that's who we'd fundraise for on the night. So I asked if he'd like to continue to fundraise for the Children's Hospital, and he said, actually, we've hit the 20 million and I've just been asked to head up a £5 million appeal for breakthrough breast cancer, who are now breast cancer now. And it was just weird, literally. The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end. I told him what was happening. We raised money for breakthrough at the event, but then he got me involved and I ran the £5 million appeal. So I ended up becoming employed by breakthrough breast cancer. Very fortunately for me and Mum, Professor Michael Lasanti, who was the research director at the time, was really interested in natural compounds. So that's where I found out about lots of different antioxidants, but one in particular in green tea called EGCG. And I wanted Mum to drink the green tea with the most EGCG in it. And because of how matcha is cultivated and processed, it was that tea. So we started drinking it for that reason. I had no intention of setting up a matcha business, but I just felt once we started drinking it and felt amazing on it and thought it was also potentially helping Mum, I needed to spread the word.
And how is your mum doing now?
She's great. Yeah, but my mum is like, proper matriarch, heartbeat of the family. She was not going to let it beat her. She's that type of character. So, she took the bull by the horns. Matches maybe helped, we don't know. But my mum, like I said, really was determined not to let it beat her.
Well, fantastic that your mum's doing well today, and just amazing that your mission to help your mum led you to matcha and led you to this business.
Exactly, yeah, and that's it. I enjoyed what I did before, I started the business, but you find something in life that you're passionate about and it just changes everything. I think that's one of the keys, in starting a business. If you're going to start a business, it needs to be something that you really, really care about.
So how was the business doing just before you took it on the Den?
It was doing okay because I was in the NatWest Entrepreneurial Accelerator, and I think because I'm so passionate about matcha and my product and people, the story behind the business really resonates with people. That we'd have pitching events, which I hated. I absolutely hated them, but we would do them and I'd do quite well because people got the story, they got what I was trying to do. I had a little bit of investment. It wasn't a huge amount, but being in Entrepreneurial Spark, which is now the NatWest Entrepreneurial Accelerator, probably gave me the confidence to do Dragon's Den. So when the email came in to say, oh, we've identified you as a potential business, and the literal blood drained out my head, I was just like, I can't not do it. And I thought, well, I've got the experience of pitching. So if I don't do it, I've got no excuse. I need to do it.
But you said you hated pitching, and then you decided to sign up to the toughest, most intense pitch you could.
I know. Well, literally, the email came in. It was January. Honestly, I opened it up and felt sick because I knew that I was going to have to explore it a bit further.
On the day, how was the build up to the pitch itself?
I had to be there for 6 a.m.
So 2 cups of matcha and then go?
Yeah, literally. And it was filmed at the old Granada Studios in Manchester. So they put me up in a hotel nearby. Then a driver came and picked me up.
How was the hotel?
Honestly, It was shit. It was, I think it was a travel lodge, but it was a grim travel lodge. So it was not the best night's sleep the night before, because as you can imagine, you're pretty nervous. So they pick you up really early, and then you go to the green room, where you basically sit and wait. I think I was in third, so I wasn't one of the ones that had to wait right until the end. But I just remember the green room was horrible. So the nerves as well, it was pretty, it was pretty grim, actually.
So what were you hoping for going in?
I really wanted them to invest in my business. I know there were a lot of people who were like, we just get loads of PR out of it. But I genuinely, I thought that they would get it, and I thought somebody would invest, and that was probably naive. That's what I hoped for. I hoped for investment.
So how did you feel in the infamous fake elevator?
So you go in the elevator, the door's shut, so you're in this little bloody box that isn't really an elevator for ages, whilst they're obviously they're checking for nerves. They want to see whether or not, they want to get some really juicy stuff for the camera. So you were in there for ages, and then you knowing that on the other side, as soon as the doors open, the dragons are there. It kind of really, really ups the ante.
I think you pitched incredibly well, but it looks intense.
Yeah, no, it was. And I think I did pitch quite well, but then obviously come the questions. It's a bit like an out-of-body experience when you're in there. I was in the den being questioned for maybe as much as 45 minutes. And then the final cut was 15. So a lot of it's edited out. And, they're looking for sensational TV at the end of the day. It's not about showing me in my best possible light. So there was one crunch moment when Deborah Meaden had got the OMGT brochure, and it talked about the science, backed by science. And actually, in hindsight, we should have a different wording. We could have had it in the brochure, but it was the wording backed by science. The thing is, I was able to explain that, what it was all about, the fact that we've been involved in research, and that actually, we'd done a breast cancer study, we'd done a fat oxidation study, but the way that it was cut, it was almost like I was a snake oil saleswoman, so that I thought was really unfair, the way that they did that, because actually it could have been extremely damaging. And actually we did get a complaint from, it actually came, somebody complained into the Advertising Standards Authority anonymously. They obviously didn't think it was a big enough deal. And then it was actually just referred to our local trading standards, and they just said, you just need to change that wording.
Were you disappointed and a bit hurt by how the edit was put together?
Yeah, no, I was. I think it could have been worse. But there was also one particular element around, the scientific research that we'd been involved in that was picked out, and they picked out the bit that made me look potentially like a snake oil saleswoman, rather than actually somebody who genuinely was trying to validate the health claims, that had got a background in it because of the research that I'd, been involved in. But also, I set up a charity called the Healthy Life Foundation that funds research into age-related diseases, which we talked about, which didn't go in there, and if that had been put into context, we probably wouldn't have had, we got the ASA, they referred it to trading standards, so it was not big enough for them. But there was somebody that got in touch to say, not happy about, that claim. And it was like, well, that's not really very fair, because it wasn't put into context. And that's not, we are a really authentic business trying to do something good. So I thought that was a bit naughty.
So building any business, especially a small challenger business, is incredibly, incredibly difficult, and there has to be a bigger motivation than just to earn money. So when things are difficult, when you're getting rejections, what is it that motivates you to keep building what's becoming an amazing business in OMGT?
Just total belief in what I'm doing. At the end of the day, I know that if everybody in the world drank matcha, the world would be a better place.
I love that. And I meet so many business people, entrepreneurs, and the ones who I love most are the ones where the passion just kind of oozes out of their pores, and the passion you have for the mission, for the product, is infectious and compelling, and it's amazing to be around.
Would you know what I was thinking? How do you fancy doing a matcha beer?
I would love to do a matcha beer.
Yeah.
We can totally do that. Here's a plan. We're going to make a match of beer. We're going to send a case of it to Peter Jones, a case of it to Deborah Meaden.
Oh my God, that'd be mega. Yeah. Cool.
And just a little thank you note.
Yeah.
If you were to meet one of the dragons now, what would you say to them?
Thank God you didn't invest.